Can anybody hear me? Because I can't hear anything. I am so confused right now why I cannot hear myself. Let me see. Why is that not working? Background's not working either. Yeah, you can hear me? Why could I not hear? I couldn't hear any of the intro music. So weird. It's always something. Always something. Let me just check something real fast. It could be this. It could be that. Okay, I can't do that because then I'll hear myself in my headphones and that's not good. See, that's on. I don't know. But if you guys are giving me a thumbs up that you can hear me, could you guys hear the intro music too? Could you guys hear the intro music? Yeah? Okay. Okay. I'll go along with it, but it's normally not like that. Normally I can't I can hear the so weird. So weird. Am I on the right thing? Always something with me. Always welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you guys can hear me. We'll keep on going, right? So weird. Always something with me, huh? Something. Let me put that away so I don't look at that. It might have be because see, I've got so many different screens on right now. Could be anything. It was choppy right in the beginning. Something happened right at the very beginning. Everything was nice and great. I need to stop listening to music right before the show because I think that messes everything up. But that's what gets me in a good mood. My life. Oh my goodness. So anybody, thank you for being here once again. And welcome to Sasquatch Secrets. I'm Nikki Colon and I am your host. So good to see now. Why did the chat just like jumped? Great. That's great. Anyway, let's go up to the tippy tip top and see who was in here first. Of course, Sharon was in here first. Just say, have a great show, Nikki. Thank you so much, Sharon. And B-Lynn was right behind her. So appreciate you both so much. Both Jen and B got their gifts in the mail last week. So hope you liked those little appreciation gifts. I have actually bought more to share with you all. We've got Jojo. Good evening. What time is it there? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What is it? Midnight over there? Staying up late, huh? Sandra, good to see you. I hope you're feeling well. Sasquatch Wizard. Hey, Jonathan. Let me know if you want to come on. I'll shoot you a link. I had a bunch of people who want to be here, but man, spring fever hit hard this weekend. And a lot of people were out and they're like, oh, maybe next week, maybe, maybe later, maybe I'll be back in time. Maybe we'll see. Okay. The invites are out. If somebody wants to drop in, just shoot me over a Facebook message and I'll get you a link to come on the show. I won't be dropping that in the chat though. Okay. So who else do we have? We've got PNW Prepper. Woo, Mount St. Helens. I loved it. I loved it over there. Had a great time last July. Can't believe we're already rounded the year, coming up to the next Sasquatch Shindig in July, the first week of July. And this one will be in Harrison Hot Springs, Canada. BC. So that'll be fun. Ristel. Did I say Ristel? Well, I'm saying Ristel now. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And Kevin Harder, I see you. I see you hiding. Who else? Gary Johnson. Good to see you. I haven't seen you lately. Have I? I'm glad you're here though. Thanks for coming in. And ooh, you are talking a lot. Bat Mom. Hey girl. Thanks for being there for me. You always hear me. You always hear me. Much love. Hey John Ayers. Good to see you. Grasshopper. Good to see you. So if I missed you, my apologies. We're going to get everything straightened out here. But so today, I thought I'm going to do something a little bit easier for me to prep and prepare, but it's a bunch of different shows, okay? All kind of put into one, which is tough talk, right? And it wasn't meant to mean something bad. It was meant to be serious top 10 questions that we always ask about Bigfoot. And I wanted to get your opinions on these questions that are going to be asked. So I put in the chat a little bit earlier a poll being the first of the 10 questions. And that was, where does Bigfoot fit in the evolutionary tree? Okay, that's our number one question. So head over there to that poll, put in your, I think I put 3 different choices on there. I don't know. Does it give you like the option to put in your own? Because I'm not seeing it from that side, and I don't remember what the polls look like in other people's chats. So do that, and we'll get to that when the time comes. I am going to move myself around just a chat and put this up here. Tough talk. So first up, I wanted to talk about the video premiere that I had on Friday night. It was supposed to be at 7, but I was like, oh wait, I can't do it at 7. Steve's on at 7. So I bumped it back an hour. That was fine. And it was an old documentary from Channel 4 there in the UK, the British Channel 4, and it was done by Mark Scullett, and it was directed by Norman Hall, and it was for a TV show that was called To the End of the Earth, titled Bigfoot Monster Mystery. And it featured this gentleman here who is John Waters. He's a biologist and wildlife cameraman. And his little journey, his little documentary journey, looking for Bigfoot with all his gear, okay, out there. The one thing that I had forgotten about this, because I had seen this many years ago, but when I ran into it again, and I thought, I'm gonna see if I can play this for everybody. And yeah, it passed. It went through. There was one little part, some music I had to kind of buffer out. But I didn't realize how many people were in this documentary. You had Larry Lund, the Sasquatch sleuth. And Larry is the guy who has given tons of materials to Todd Prescott, the Sasquatch Archives. Okay. A lot of his stuff came from Larry Lund, and he has contributed to many documentaries, many books, and has been part of the the overall Bigfoot scene for quite some time. So he was in that, and I didn't even realize it. Henry Franzoni, who has recently come under scrutiny for his recent two-part interview with what's it called? Oh my goodness. Now I can't think. Tobe Johnson's channel. And hopefully he's feeling better. I hear he was taken to the hospital for something. So, but yeah, he has different alternative ideas of what Bigfoot is and how Bigfoot communicates and how the government is involved and all that type of stuff. So, Flash of Beauty. Sorry. Yeah, Flash of Beauty. So go over there and check it out. There are two amazing interviews. All the work Tobe does, I believe, is pretty amazing. He's real good at getting those interviews done, and I enjoyed them. I don't really agreed with a lot of Henry's stuff, but it's worth the watch because it really helps you understand the way there are so many different people in this field and how they look at this subject, you know? So, flash of booty, not flash of booty, flash of beauty. Beauty, go check that out and subscribe for sure. But anyway, it was fun. Dr. Henner Fehrenbach was on there. He's a biologist. And who else was on? Ron Moorhead had a little part with his Sierra sounds on there. So it was quite the lineup. So I hope you go check that out if you missed it. It was a video premiere that I did on Friday. So I hope you guys liked that. And then later I put a little short out about it. Because what happened was later, after this documentary, people took that Bigfoot image you're seeing right there, and photoshopped it onto different backgrounds. And I looked for some of them and I couldn't find. I know I've seen them before, but I could not find the exact one I was looking for. Well, I couldn't find them. But these images here, they cropped them out, put them in the background, lightened them up. So, and that's what happens. That's what happens with, these type of movies, documentaries, anything showing the Bigfoot. They grab those screenshots and then they lighten them, change them up a little bit, and before you know it, they're trying to pull off what is a hoax. Even though this is a documentary, it wasn't a hoax. It was just to see if he could, come up with a video that would look like a real video of a Bigfoot. But I didn't really like the suit. I mean, I've never seen a Bigfoot, but to me, it looks exactly like. Oh, thank you. Sent me. Okay, they're sending me the poll to how it looks on your guys' end. All right. So thank you, B. So did I pull that down? Yep. So anyway, yeah, I have my opinions about how a suit should look and how I think it more realistic according to animals and how animals are. But everybody keeps saying how Bigfoot is closer to a human, looks like a human, walks upright, carries itself, pretty much like a human. And therefore, everybody wants to say it's hair, not fur. And I think that's what would make it look completely different and not one massive piece of, fur coming off the body, like, or hair draping, like it from the monsters, just big long thing. I don't think it's like that. So, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that, let me see, move this chat over because I don't know. We have to ask more people, right? And get more descriptions, hence the encounter stories. What did it look like? I don't know. It was so fast. It just went running by. How about you, Max? Max Powers in the house. What do you think about that costume from the Goat Mountain Bigfoot? Separate twig on a human branch of the primary primate family tree. Yeah, I agree. It's its own thing. I know that. Wherever you're gonna put it, it's its own thing. It was part of a different type of evolutionary track. Tell us how you really feel, Max. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mind the face. I think the face is okay. I didn't like how the hair was draping off like Fu Manchu off the lip there. But and man, those eyebrows are like crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, most costumes, who's got Grasshopper says most costumes look like bad shag rugs. Too thick, not like hair. Right. You're right. I agree. What else? Doesn't look organic. You're right. Exactly. That's my thought too. In real life, thin hair like ours, when it gets rubbed, it would fall off or be thinner in areas. So not just one blanket of hair. It would have areas that don't have a whole lot of hair between the thighs, on the underarms, the around the neck right here. Different. I think it would look a little bit different. And a lot of encounter stories claim that they could see the muscles and the body underneath the hair, right? They could see the structure. Uh, Tag inside 80% polyester. Oop, I can't get it off. There it goes. So, hey, Blake, welcome to the chat. So, anyway, I just thought I would touch on that. And you guys can go check that out later. Now it won't even go. There we go. So, what are my top 10 questions asked about Bigfoot? And starting with that question I put in the chat is, where does Bigfoot fit in the evolutionary tree? Is it a surviving hominid species, a closely related primate, or something entirely unique? And everybody has different take depending on where you're coming from, right? Are you flesh and blood? Are you more spiritual, woo side, for lack of a better term? Patty had hair wear under her arms. Hair wear? Um, at number 10. What? Oh, I didn't number them 10 down to my number 1. They're just all questions. I didn't put them in any specific order. So I do believe they're flesh and blood. I don't believe that they can evaporate into thin air. I think they have some very unique abilities to camouflage themselves. And I don't call it being able to go into a portal or any of that. You know, I don't think there's any evidence for that as well. There's questions about how they can move so fast, or why aren't there more than one footprint at a time, or things, you know, things along that line. Is they were here 1 minute and then they were gone, or I never heard them moving in the forest at all. But you're right, Max. Everything has its own natural camouflage, and I think they have that too. I think they know how to be quiet. They know how to be still, where we've kind of lost that ability. We're always on the move. We're always talking, and we're always making noise. You know? Do you remember? It kind of reminds me of Avatar when she's getting mad at that guy for making so much noise in the forest. And she tells him, "You're like a baby. You're moving like a baby." We're babies to them. You know, we haven't, very few of us know how to move in the woods. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of trackers out there who know exactly how to move in the woods and how to sneak up on prey, and hunters out there who do that same thing. But for the most of us, we're not experts. We're just weekend warriors and having fun out there. Um, what are you talking about? Color reduction theory. Okay. I'm gonna look that up. Color reduction theory. So another thing that in regards to this evolutionary origins is that I don't believe that they're. I do believe they're part of the Homo species, but not um sapien. Okay, not human beings, not like me or you, which is a huge argument within our own flesh and blood group, is that many think they're just a lost tribe. They're just part of an indigenous group that broke off. But I don't see that in this case, because I don't believe that their structure, their skeletal structure, is like human beings. If they are consistently over 6 feet tall, 7 feet tall. Now we know humans can get up to 7 feet tall. Okay. Anything more than that, they are struggling to walk. Their knees cannot support their weight. And even anything more than the mass, okay, that increases, um, the mass, their break, their bones density cannot handle that, the weight of that. So I think they have a different bone structure completely, to just like elephants developed, you know, thicker bones to hold their weight. I think so did Bigfoot. You know, they've got a different makeup to their bone structure, because they'd have to be at that weight. You're calling them 600-700 pound animals. That's a lot of mass to be on bone structure like a human's, because that weight is the same for everybody. That's why you see people who are 600 and 700 pounds are bedridden. They need cranes to take them out of their homes, is because their bones cannot hold their weight. But at 600 pounds for a Bigfoot, they can run through the woods quiet as a mouse. So something's different there, not like human. What about caveman identity? Caveman is part of the evolutionary track. Human being. That's already part of the ladder, part of the branches. Just like Homo erectus, you know. Because remember, you have Homo habilis, Homo. This makes me miss Joe, guys. I'm having a Joe moment right now of him telling us about Homo naledi and Homo erectus and then Homo hypogensis. You know, we have all that. We have those pieces of the puzzle. Quiet bipedalism suggests arches. Does it? Wow. Okay. And that is something that we're saying Bigfoot doesn't have, correct? Max, you should come on. You want to come on and talk with me? Naledi is interesting, but doesn't it have the longer jaw? Ergaster is interesting after Homo habilis. But remember, the brow ridge for Heidelbergensis is interesting as well. So it's somewhere in there. It's got to be somewhere in there. And it just took this different route altogether. For sure. How can it be? Caveman looking. Well, they're have the same structure, Gary. They have the same structure as us, but they're doubled what we are. You know, what a normal man, 6-foot man would be. They're stronger. Their muscles are bigger. They have a bigger, no doubt, a bigger circulatory system, different from humans, because they have to move a massive amount of blood throughout their extremities. Okay. Which also means they need more food. That's another thing. If they're that big, they need a larger calorie intake to survive. And we're going to get into what they eat or what we think they eat and how much they eat. And that's a whole nother thing. But you are right about the whole anatomy of bipedalism. That makes a difference. You know, those muscles make a difference on how they move through the forest. For sure. So, population dynamics was my second one. Need something to drink. There's so many different people saying that there are thousands of Bigfoot out there, right? Oh, I didn't look to see what everybody thought. I'm going to end the poll. Where does it tell me the answer? Oh, there it is. Hominid species, 51%. Something entirely unique, 25%. Related primate, 22. So look at those numbers. That is very skewed. There's a bunch of different beliefs out there on what it is, how they came about. And I think if I did a poll for each one of these things we're going to be talking about, I believe we would get results like that. Everybody has and nobody's right or wrong at this point because it's all speculative. Right? Homolongi. Dragon Man. Oh, Kevin. I like that though. That's funny. So, population. What is the population size of Bigfoot? We don't know, and we wish we knew so that we could study them properly. Okay? They're not like the gorillas where we can go and find where they are, and even if they move, we can track exactly where they are. They can be literally studied every day. So that leads to, how do they reproduce? How long are their gestation periods? Are they like elephants because they're bigger, have 2-year gestational periods? Or is it like us, 9 months and bam, we got a baby? So we don't know, but what are their mating habits? Are they monogamous? Do they have many different mates? Do they have a family and then they go get another family? If we did that, I think we would have bigger population. I don't think that's happening. Trackway, I think you got me sick too. I woke up with a sore throat yesterday, today. But it might be because I started putting the fan on in the bedroom. um Carbon cranium. I don't know what that is. I don't know I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. What? Oh, 40 watching and only 7 likes. I'm showing 7 likes on mine. I don't know. But just for fun, I did put something new on my computer. See if it works. Oh, look, I'm off the screen. See, that would be good to know. Let me move it. Right there's better. Oh, I know why, because I'm off centered. There we go. See? Hit the like button right now, all of y'all's. I have 35% of you watch me, but you don't hit the subscribe button. What is up with that? I don't like that very much. Oh, look. And now my little birdie's in the wrong place because of that. Look. Boop. Hit that subscribe button, peoples. Please. Anyway, enough of that. Okay. Now I gotta move that out of the way. That's why my my audio's probably off because I was fooling around again. I don't know, but it's coming with body aches. Did yours have body aches? So, all these things, right? What do you guys think? Is there one Bigfoot per 100 bear, like a lot of people say? Or is there one Bigfoot per 1,000 bears? 10,000 bears? I think the numbers are way lower than we think. In areas where they're seeing a lot, I think they're seeing the same one. Different people are seeing the same one. That's always been my opinion about that, especially in areas like Washington and Oregon. And again, we don't know how far they travel, which is another question. Um, uh, first come first. Oh yeah, grasshopper. We already bought 3 spots. I bought 2 spots for 5 days, and Jerry bought a spot. So we have enough room right now for, what is it, Jerry? 4 adults per site, and you can have 4 kids per site as well. That's and three tents per site. Ouch. I bought those the day they opened so that we would be sure to have spots. So what else? So yeah, I think less numbers are out there, but they're still being seen, right? People are still seeing them on a fairly regular basis. That the mapping project is always putting in new information. Oh, it's probably because I haven't refreshed, Sandra. Thank you. Appreciate it. Um, I'm like 5 away from 900, 900 subs. Ah! And my friend, I have to tell you guys this. I have to stop and tell you this. She had the same exact amount of me. She had 3 videos, 3 like 30-minute videos go viral. She has 6,000 in 1 month. She jumped to 6,000. I'm like, "What?" I'm so happy for her because she puts out a lot of good content, and that's Doof Paranormal, Karen. But oh my god, we were like back and forth for a little while, and then she just hit it. You just don't know. I'll put out 5 shorts and one of them will have a lot of likes and, hit that. So, you just don't know. You just have to keep working at it, right? Who's texting me now? Oh, it's Jen. She just got out of work. Um Steve. Okay, so we'll move on. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Nobody does for how many are out there. We're just guessing. We're speculating. We're assuming because of how many people see these things that there's a lot of them. But I just don't see the case. And I'm sorry. I do not believe you if you say that every time you go out in the woods you're freaking seeing one. And then you have 0 pictures to show, 0 video, 0 anything. Just don't tell anybody. If you are seeing these things every single day and you have nothing to prove that, then why even say? You know, I know why you're saying it, but um no. Don't believe it. I don't believe it. A lot of people don't, but people will be your friends and they will support you no matter what you say or do. So, um good on you for that, right? I'm not. Max, you say at least 6, maybe 7 Bigfoot? Is that or am I missing your conversation? Um yeah, you Steve. Me? I saw your quick. Saw you up there. Okay. Let's move on. Can't be easy though. It can't be easy living out there these days. With us encroaching on all the areas out there, I mean, I know there's a lot of untouched land, but still, we're getting to be where our roads are cutting through a lot of this areas. So I mean, look at the forest maps. All you do is see little forest roads all over the place. We're all over. Um, Not every outing is a home run, but there's often, whoops, it jumped. Often something of interest to pass along. I agree. That's what makes it fun to watch everybody is trying, right? Going like what Brent did today. And where are you, Brent? I thought you were coming on. Did you forget what time? Um, he went out there, Tristan and Cosmo, they're out there, gone and collected their evidence, having a good time. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So I could never do that run though. Do you see those big logs? They're up and down, up and around and hurting themselves. And no, I like the little easy trails. And then Brent's talking about not using any lights while you're out there. I don't think so. I mean, I'm good in the dark, okay? But I think it's going to be a completely different situation for me when I'm out there by myself in the dark. I'm really brave when I know there's people in the area, but we shall see. I have scoped out my camping spots and I really want to go to this one particular one because it's, a ways in. But then I think, oh my God, that's far from people. Do I want to be that far away from the main road? So my first one might be closer to the main drag, the main highway in there, just so I can get my bearings. And then I'll venture to the area C, and then D is way the heck up there too, where this forest road just dead ends. We shall see. But I got to start planning that here real soon because it's time. I think it was still in the 40s though this weekend. And yeah, it was cold the last time we were there. So I don't know if they're expecting any more snow up there. Let's see. What did you say? Let me move it over. If you're in bear, big cat country, sneaking around is like putting a dinner bell around your neck. Well, yeah, there are cougars, mountain lions up there. For sure. I'm scared of bear. I'm scared of bear. I know not to turn my back on a mountain lion, but bear, I'm scared of bear. And everybody always says, oh, they'll leave you alone. My ass. Jeez. Um, can't take a gun past the border. I don't like that. You can take a gun, but you have to apply for the permit to carry a gun because you have to show that what you're doing is to protect your life in the wilderness and that you wouldn't use it against any human because I already looked it up. And I guess it's really hard to get one. It's super hard to get the permit, but it's the law is there. It's doable. You can't even carry pepper spray or anything. Mm, what? Okay, okay. Uh, it's okay, B. Um, Let's move on. Let's move on. Habitat and range, right? What are the preferred habits of Bigfoot? How has human activity impacted its range? And what are the implications for conservation efforts? Do they need to be protected? I don't think so. I think they're doing fine on their own. I think that the numbers are decreasing, but I don't believe they're going to do what we tell them to do. Um, at least wear a cap light. Oh, yeah. No, I'll be having my lights with me. I'll turn them off for like a little bit and then I'll have it back on. Because another thing is that I'm real clumsy because I have bad knees. So it doesn't take much for me to almost fall. Arrested on the spot for spotlighting or harassing wildlife. I should probably look that up, huh? I'm not spotlighting animals. I'm spotlighting so I don't die or fall off the edge of the mountain. There's some real huge cliffs right where I'm going to be. And so I have to scope these areas out in the daytime really well. Um, so protection. I think, what does he say? I think a large range, they would leave too big of an environmental footprint, but also I think they have some favorite places and habits. Habitats. Well, just look at the map, and that's where the general sightings are. There are some of those sightings that seem a little far out that I know are in the middle of the desert. There's some that are places where there's no trees or water. I've seen when I'm looking for places to go, I'm looking at the Southwest because that's where I'm at. Just like people who are on the Pacific Northwest look in their areas, which they can go anywhere pretty much. That's not the case for where I'm at. There's very specific places I have to go if I want to even attempt to be successful at finding any kind of sign of Bigfoot, because you can find the mountain ranges in the Southwest. And we do have them, and they're 86,000 to 12,000 feet. So, you have to go to those places or be near those places. You're just not going to walk out your back door and have a habitat. Let me look again. Rabbits finally here, you guys. Telling you, slacking. In my opinion, based on 40 years of seeing one. Octo. Who's Octo? Oh, octopus with no friends. Good to see you. And killed by Bigfoot just came in too. Good to see you as well. So, I don't think we're going to ever be able to do any kind of conservation on them because we haven't gotten that far at all. I don't think we even have to think about it. I don't think the game and fish really even think about that, other than maybe manipulating encounters, the stories that they get, the reports. Who knows what they do with those? They say they're taking this information, but do they really do anything with it? I don't know. Ouch. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know. Let me mark myself off here on this. Okay, next. Bigfoot's social structure. What do you guys think? A mom and dad and a couple kids roaming the wilderness together? From one camp to the other, depending on the seasons. Do they go to lower elevation in the winter? It makes sense. It would make sense. Do they not migrate more than, I don't know, 100 miles maybe? Do you think they traverse all the way from the lower Appalachians all the way up to the Adirondacks? I've heard that. I've heard people say they can do that, but do they? Hey, EC. Ooh, nice. Highs in the 60 and upper 50s. 30s at night. See, yeah, I need that number just a little bit higher for at night so I don't freeze to death. But I'm getting ready, EC. I'll be contacting you real soon so I can go up there and we can have a walk. Steve says 20 miles tops. That they do a 20-mile radius? Probably. I mean, that sounds more. See, my throat is already getting bad. I'm not going to have a good week. Probably there are lone single ones too. Absolutely, there's probably lone single ones. Rogue Bigfoot. Maybe they're the bad attitude Bigfoot. You know, we always hear the mean ones. An army blanket over the Walmart bag. Ooh, I got my sleep system all ready for the back of the truck. I did. Ooh, hey, Rabbit. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. You deserve a this one.
Whoa! Whoa!
I hope you guys heard that because I did not hear that. That's messed up. But I can't leave the chat and come back in. I can't leave the stream and come back in because it'll close. Somebody has to be on here live. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Matter of fact, I'm finally gonna get paid like here really soon. It said week 3 of April or something. And I already spent money on you guys. I bought a bunch of stuff to give out as gifts. So I'll go through that near the end. But that was super nice. For the love of this channel and the cool friends, thank you so much, Rabbit. I appreciate you a lot. He's been 100% a supporter. What? Did I hit 900? Yay! I'm so happy. Because they're real numbers, okay? Those are real supporters right there. That 900. It's no fluff. Those are my people. So happy. Yeah. We'll get there. I'll get there eventually. You guys are going to be seeing a lot of shorts coming out, so don't get mad at me for putting out shorts. Uh, anyway, social structure. That's what we're talking about. So, yeah, I think who knows what the males do, you know? They have if if they're monogamous and they're staying with one, then I think the species is doomed. I think they're gonna be on a decline until it's done. If the males have multiple families or don't start having multiple families, then, I just don't know how they can survive. But they have to be having a lot of babies for it to survive this long, for us to still have sightings. Yep, there's not enough evidence. We don't know. Occasionally people see juveniles. Some people say see babies. Some people say they saw babies being born. Some people say they go up to the weddings of the Bigfoot. Okay. The royal families, okay? They have a royalty. They get together once a year and they have all these mating weddings and stuff. Maybe they're matriarchal. Maybe. Maybe she's the boss. She should be. She should be. I might be referring to Tom. There's a lot of Toms in this field. Um, they do throw a hell of a kegger. Do you know that from experience, Max? You rarely hear of the females and kids, means the males are gathering. They're hunting. Yep. I'm sure they're very what's it called? Um Opportunistic feeders. They'll eat whatever they can find. You're so knowledgeable, Max. That's all. Oh, we've got a Central Florida Bigfoot guy lurking in the shadows. So, woohoo! B. Lynn. Thank you for everyone who is sharing Sasquatch Secrets and helping Nikki reach 1,000 subs soon. Thank you so much there, dear. I appreciate you, and I am going to throw you this. There you go. Thank you, B. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I really wish I could hear that, though. I don't know why is that? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um, let's move right along. Where are we at? That was we're only like on 5 right now. Okay, here we go. Bigfoot communications. How about that? How about that? We got a woohoo in there and some samurai chatter. How many of you believe in the samurai chatter? Should I put a poll or can you all just tell me in the chat? What? Myself and others, whoa, have noticed a sense of tactical knowledge and choosing terrain that suits it. Okay. I've noticed a sense of tactical knowledge. That's hmm. Something that makes you go, hmm. So I I was really I don't believe in the Sierra sounds. I'm sorry. I don't. I just don't think that is something. Woo, girl, you are crazy. Thank you. You're so awesome. Thank you so much. All that stuff's coming right back to y'all. Um, why does it say that? Um, is that okay? So AAO. Who's that? Who is that? Thank you so much. You snuck in there. I didn't see you. I was so confused because you were like attached to bees. So weird how that happened. But thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the support. And now it won't leave. It won't leave. There we go. Um what else? What else? Knocks, whistles, animal noises, infrasound. You're right. All the talking to each other to stay hidden from us. You're right. It could be anything, right? We don't know, but it's fun to speculate as long as you stay skeptical. Um, as long as you hold on, sending a link to somebody. You stay focused on the fact that okay, I heard a knock. Could be a tree breaking, could be a Bigfoot, could be uh something else. You could be a deer rubbing their antlers, could be a chipmunk throwing pine cones, could be as long as you remain that it could be a number of different things. It's fun to speculate, that well that sound it can only be a Bigfoot because only Bigfoots can move something that big. Well, I'm telling you, in the middle of the night, when a raccoon comes running around the side of your tent, it sounds like it could be a bear, right? Things can sound bigger than what they are. That's all I'm saying. No proof to so much, a lot of assumptions. You're right. It is a lot of assumptions. I mean, that's the fun part of the whole journey is just going out and doing it, right? And experiencing it and saying, wow, that happened last night. I don't know what it was, but something happened last night. Could have been deer, could have been bear, could have been a skunk. I don't know, but something happened last night and it was weird. And you just keep documenting it and you move around and you try to replicate it and see what happens. And this time you couldn't see what it was, but maybe next time you have a little peephole or you don't get frozen in your cot. Maybe next time you're ready or you stay up all night. You're changing every time. Or I can't speak for all the researchers out there or the people who aren't researchers but go out and investigate. because that's how I would consider myself, more of just a curious person, wanting to know what's going on in an area that has sightings. Because somebody's seeing something there, and they're all different people, and they're all reporting that something has happened. And I keep saying I'm afraid of bears because I know this area has a shit ton of bears. I was there, like north of this area, and there was a bear with its 3 babies right outside our cabin. And we weren't even we were in civilization. I mean, that whole area is like mountain city, mountain town, mountain village, I guess you'd call it. So you don't have to be that far, and there's wildlife. Yes, I'm an enthusiast as well. It's fun, and I like to go out and have a good time. I'm not also serious. I don't think. I don't know. Where's Jen? Jen knows how I roll. Brett knows how I roll. I like to have a good time, but maybe I do get a little focused when I'm out in the woods because I don't want to miss anything. It's never long enough. The last day of any trip is always the worst because you're leaving. I know I'm leaving. I thought a raccoon was a serial killer one night. That's funny, Bat Mom. 2 hours scared to death, and I saw this cute little face. It was a serial killer. He was a bandit. You had a bandit. That's funny. Oh, Jen's here. She made it home from work. She says, yes, you focus. I start focusing and then I just start walking and I'm gone. Jen too, though. She's like, her eyes are on the ground, like constantly. The last thing you hear before the attack is silence. That's like the best horror movie trick, right? Everything goes dead. There's silence. Well, even when we were up on at Mount St. Helens, there was that first night. Remember, it was quiet. We were the loud ones, but it was dark and quiet. It was very quiet. Um, Jerry says Sierra sounds are 50 years old. No one has ever heard them before, and no one has ever heard them since. I'm not sure that they are worth inclusion in this. Well, there has been a few people say they heard something similar, but I've not heard their audio. Did Shane have, wait, who? Somebody in the Olympic Project record something that they said was similar to one of the clips of the Sierra? But it's not out there like the Sierra sounds. You would think that if there was another one, Jerry, you're right, that it would be out there, that it would be well known, and it's not. I need to interrogate you. That is completely wrong. Samurai chatter has been heard lots of times since all over. It's been heard, but where's the audio? I can say I heard samurai chatter out the back door. And you're just going to believe me for that. even though I'm in the middle of the desert and there's no Bigfoot here. That's what I'm saying. You know, we haven't had audio like that ever. That was the only case. Because all the other audio is bumped up beyond belief, and all you hear is the white noise because it's so blown out. The audio is so blown out. And they're like, see, did you hear that? Priming you to hear something. What does Jen say? Nikki, check my audio from Mount St. Helens. As soon as I put the phone down on record, the talking chatter was there. Oh, yeah. We had the yeah. There was some talking chatter there. There was something there. I don't think I have that, Jen. Did you send it to me? Don't know. I heard 3 things having an argument. Max, were those your ex-wives? That mom. Be nice. How many people are using tape recorders these days? Nobody. Everybody's using what are they called? Can't think of it. Can't think of the name I'm thinking of. Did I write it down? I don't know. Let's see. I put it in the group chat on the job box. Oh. What do you think about the reports of Sasquatch being seen in residential areas, towns, etc.? It could be true. It could be totally true. I mean, just like bears wander in for garbage, why can't any other animal wander in for garbage? I mean, we see the raccoons do that. They get used to human stuff, human waste. We're dirty people. We don't clean up after ourselves. So, we get a lot of animals in our area. So, anyway.
Hey.
Hello, Jonathan.
How you doing tonight, Nikki?
See, I can't hear Jonathan either, but I bet you're there.
Yes,
Okay.
I am. I can hear you.
Stay here. I'm going to come out. Now that you're in here, I'm going to go out and come back in. Okay?
Yep.
What am I going to lose when I do that? Hold on. Let me think. Okay.
Show's over, folks. I like that picture, that background. That's awesome. Shooting stars. And a near eclipse of the moon. Thanks, B.
Hello.
There, I can hear you, Nikki.
Oh, I can hear you. Yay. Right, I knew that's what I needed to do earlier, but I can't do it unless somebody's in in with me.
Right on.
So how are you?
I'm doing good. Just came back out of the north, picked up Camille, come home, got dinner started, and come in here to join you folks.
Well, I'm happy you did. We're only halfway through, but I'm taking my time and reading the chat. So what do you think about Bigfoot communication? You think they're out there jibber jabbering?
Well, I mean, they have some interesting recordings. If those are Sasquatch vocals, They are strange. Maybe they do have some sort of communicating language where they understand each other and more than just grunts and different types of calls. I always wondered
Yeah.
if they could actually carry on a conversation. I don't know that though.
Well, it seems like they would have something for sure, you know.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah. They seem as if that they're missing some sort of something in the vocal cords. There must be, unless again, working within the hypothesis that some of the recordings that they speak of is Sasquatch communicating with each other. What was that one? I think it was oh, who Scott Carpenter, and I think he was with the fella from 411, and they had a recording. And the gentleman that was a how do you pronounce that?
linguistic.
Linguistic, yeah. And he had broke that down and thought that it seemed as if one was speaking to the other and they were arguing, possibly. And
Yeah.
if in fact that was authentic, that language was very quick and nothing like any human language. Even if we think about the difference between Japanese, Chinese language, or Russian or American, um that that language that was being spoken on that recorder, it's very fast and very different. Monkeys, and gorillas and other primates, they don't speak like that. So
Right. They use a lot of gestures
yeah,
to communicate.
almost like
And I
sign
think you were
language.
thinking of Scott Nelson.
Yes, Scott Nelson. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But if he says there was a pattern of language in all that mess, then, there possibly could be. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm just more of a skeptic when it comes to stuff like that and
Mm-hmm.
how it came about. And yeah, there was somebody up there that cooperated. And, I don't know, just something. It's for me, it's a gut feeling that I, will stick with forever. And it doesn't hurt for me to have that feeling. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter one way or the other if I believe in the sounds or if I don't believe in the Sarah sounds. Makes absolutely no difference
Yeah.
to my belief in Bigfoot. Just like the
Mm-hmm.
P&G film.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if I believe in it or don't believe in it, because that's not where I base my understanding of Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think everybody has those limits. Everybody has the right to they exist because of this or they exist because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. As long as we can all get along with that idea, and know that people are going to have varying different opinions about it, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing wrong with us doing that. What's wrong is the nefarious stuff that happens in the community.
Right.
That's wrong,
Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
and we don't. Uh, Sometimes that's mixed up.
Yeah. It's
People,
okay if with those vocals, if you're going to take that on as a project, work within the hypothesis that it is Sasquatch as a project, not a belief, and then take those vocals, search for other recorded vocals, and keep that on file. Maybe 5 years from now, another amazing recording comes up. Compare the two and
yeah,
start thinking of things like, okay, well, where were all of these recordings? If one was from Russia, and one was from Southern America and one was from Alaska. They may be similar, but then you also have to add in, well, Russians speak like Russians. Americans speak like Americans, but Southern Americans have an accent, so don't Northern. You have to add all that in and compare. And it's a process of building with the data. It would take a long time, especially since how we can't observe these things. Like you can, find a family of gorillas and study them for 10 years, day in and day
Right.
out. Unfortunately, we just get little needles in a haystack every now and then, and we have to work with that and still guessing, is it Sasquatch? It's hard to
Right.
work with that. We don't have a lot to work with.
And some people are going to have more information than us because of their experiences. Like Trackway has had more experiences because he's out there and has gathered more data.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
So
doing a good
he's
job.
able to compare all of his uh, encounters. That's not the right word. Experiences, things that have happened during his investigations. He can say that, you know, I'm not, I can't go and watch all of his stuff, all of his data, all of his, that he puts out there.
Mhm.
And I'm sure he has hours and hours and endless hours of audio that he has painstakingly gone through and knows the difference between that little sound and a bird sound or that little sound and a coyote in the background because he knows his area. He's done his homework. He knows the animals in his area and knows what to expect, and he knows what's different. He knows what's off. And that's what we have to do. Each individual, investigator, that's what you do in your areas. You learn what's there and how your areas sound, because I'm quite sure that they're all forests, but I bet you they all sound different.
Yeah. Peeling away the layers.
Mhm.
He
They
works a
all
lot
sound
on the audio distortions and realizing that some of the recordings that produce sounds that sound like something and you want to label it, but he's not labeling it. He's looking for other avenues how that sound is being created. And yeah, he does a really good job. He doesn't jump right to, yep, that's what it was. We were discussing what was it? There was a recording that he had, and a piece of the recording for me, when I listened to it, it sounds like something said Freebird. And I mean, once I heard it and I told him, I'm like, I can't get away from that now. That's all I hear is Freebird in the recording. And we were just talking the other day through email, and he was mentioning that, he was looking at the audio distortion avenue and now setting up multiple recorders, which is a great idea because one device can capture a piece of trace evidence, and that's what you have to work with. But if
Mhm.
you have multiple recorders recording that same piece of trace evidence, you can start ruling out if you're having some sort of a audio distortion or technical problem or an environmental problem with one recorder. Did all
Mhm.
three pick up the same thing? That's good work. Hats off to
Yeah.
your Trackway. You're doing a great job.
That's the only thing I'm kind of missing right now for myself is new recorders because I have a really super old Sony one and it's it won't transfer right at all. It's like I don't know
Mhm.
what the issue is, but it's really old. I mean, it's super old.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing on my need list, I guess, is a couple of good digital recorders. So
Yeah, definitely. That's very, very important to have a good recorder, even just one for starters, but to have one that's, you know, durable and has good mics and yeah, capturing
yeah.
good solid audio is definitely important. I was just talking about that earlier. I got done work up in Bolton and I ended up taking a walk up what was that, pool pond or something, I don't know, some trail. I traveled up that, cut off the trail, walked through the woods to intercept the trail. I was following a creek. I believe it was Northwest Brook or Indian Brook, one of the two. And it's because this time of the year the smelt are either running or getting ready to run out of Lake George and head up the creeks and spawn. And for the last 3 years I've been traveling to these creeks and walking on them up into the woods a ways, looking for tracks of animals that are, you know, pretty much depending on the spawning season to have a feeding frenzy, much like the salmon runs. Somehow them bear, no, it's that time of the year. Let's start heading for the rivers. The salmon are spawning. It's a feeding frenzy. And my idea on that is much of the same. And what was it? Camille and I, a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, we were right over there at that same one of the two. I think we were at Northwest Brook, which comes out of Northwest Bay, out of Lake George, on the western side of Lake George. And we saw fish in that creek right off the road that were anywhere from 12 to 18 inches long. They were huge. And once I got a good look at them, there was hundreds of them. They were suckers that were spawning up that creek. And, you know, a lot of us might not eat a sucker, but I'm sure a bear or a Sasquatch, if he was in the area, isn't going to care about whether it's a trout or a sucker. If you
Yeah,
munch on that. So I was
for sure.
thinking I need to get some trail cameras. I've had two. One's busted and the other one is starting to act up. I need new equipment too. But I wanted to get some trail cameras set on the creeks during that spawning season to see if I could, you know, see what's feeding on that. And when you mentioned equipment, where I started was audio. I was just saying that coming out that trail. My audio recorder, the battery life, it won't run for any more than, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour, one of them. The other one's running halfway decent. In this past fall, I drove over my pack and crushed my Zoom H4's screen in, crushed the screen of another Philips recorder.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you're rough. You're rough on your equipment. I want I you think you're right. Trail cameras are starting to be not that useful, but I want one on me on my camp, you know, one for around me and pretty much for my own protection, not for humans, you know,
Sure.
coming into my camp.
Well, it's
That's
nice
why
to get
I
video
want to
of
set
other animals too. You know, I mean, it's not always about Sasquatch. I mean, it's
yeah,
really cool to get a video of a
what's in the
nice
area.
silver fox or a black
Yeah.
bear. I mean, it's really cool to see that stuff.
TIFF format. Trust me, when I start putting all this stuff together, I'm going to be calling everybody. What do I set this at? I'll be calling Brent. Wait a minute. What about this? What about that?
I love
Or
that
Matt
picture,
in
Nikki.
Central
That's pretty
Florida.
cool.
The what?
I love the picture you have up there, the
Oh,
Bigfoot diet
yeah.
eating habits.
I'm eating over there.
Yeah,
There's so much we don't know. All we can do is make assumptions that he's a large animal. He's got to eat a lot. You know, there's got to be a lot of
maybe.
consumption of different proteins along with foraging.
Mhm.
And I've heard people say they don't eat anything but roughage in the whatever is on the ground, and or fish, and some saying that no, they're primarily meat eaters because that's what they are. Well, we don't know any of it. Now, a lot of the encounter descriptions say that their teeth are like ours, flat, which would indicate that they're more omnivorous and eat a variety of food.
Yeah.
If they had canines, that would say go more towards that they were meat eaters.
To tear.
Now, again, there has been some cases where they said they had sharp canines on their encounters. So we have a wide range of different types of Bigfoot, just like we have the skunk ape, smaller in size, different color, less hair, because they're in more humid areas. And maybe the ones up north, they're larger. What's that called again? What's that whole thing with the...
I was just going to say Newton's law, but it's not that.
It's not that law, but you all know. Somebody in the chat will say.
Yes, I know it's right.
And up north, they're going to be bigger and hairier.
Bergman's rule?
Muscular.
Is it Bergman's rule?
Probably. I don't know. I can't remember, but I know there's a law about it because there's a law about everything. So
I think Sasquatch are, like habitat generalists, really. And I think they're, if I had to take a guess, I'd say that they are much like bear. I think they have some basic needs. And as long as the ecosystem they're calling home has those needs, they are fine staying put if they feel safe, secure, and not being bothered. I think if they're out traveling around, excuse me, then they're looking for something. I don't really think they're, I think they probably take a lot of naps, up for a little while, and they need to feed, back to sleep, sit there, just, and then when they want to travel, for whatever reason they want to travel, they head on out in search of whatever's, on their mind to go get.
I definitely have a feeling that they're just opportunistic feeders. They graze all day. They have big kills. They probably feed their families, the hunters, and are continually doing that cycle over and over and over consistently. I'm not sure that I believe in storage, that they have stores of food hidden, but if a chipmunk does it, why could they not have that instinct? I don't know.
It makes sense that it would make good sense. I mean, especially out west, you have the high mountains. They carry ice at high elevations for long periods of time. I mean, if food's getting low in their area, but they haven't made the decision to travel to find a new home area, if that's the case, maybe grab a couple extra deer, go up on top of the mountain and get them down into that ice and snow so they're froze. But then again, their guts must be adjusted like other animals. We need to take it fresh from the market home and cook it, not set it out on the porch for 2-3 days until the maggots are about ready to start crawling and then mow it down. So, and I remember back a while ago, I had this come across my mind, and I started looking into it. Something about sphagnum moss was acidic, and because it was acidic, bacteria and fungus didn't thrive in that. And so I started a little hypothesis and jotted down some writing on it, thinking to myself, well, if the Sasquatch understood that, what would stop them from finding a spot in the forest and digging out from underneath the roots on the side of a bank, and then take sphagnum moss and get it all up inside of there, and then take deer meat or whatever be it and put it up in there? It would be, less conducive for rotting and bacteria, and that would break down the meat. Maybe it would store longer. And of course, back in the old days for ice, they used to dig a hole, or well, there was multiple ways that they did it, but they take sawdust, put it down in there, tons of sawdust, and put blocks of ice down in there. And the sawdust would, keep the ice from melting much better than it did, up on top of the ground.
Yeah. Who knows? The whole idea of them possibly going underground and in caves, in other type of shelters that may be a more steady temperature.
Right.
There's
maybe not way down under the ground, but I mean, look at bank beaver up here on the Screwen River. When I was trapping out behind Warrensburg Travel Trailer Park, the sides of the Screwen in the areas up in there is really kind of very sandy, and the the water always comes up 7-8 feet in the spring and pretty much clears out all the understory and cuts the banks off. And as you walk up the river, you'll find these holes that are, I don't know, anywhere from 12 to 14 inches around, to some of them are almost 2 foot around. And the beavers bore the bank out and they go up in den inside of that versus constructing a beaver house. And we used to call them bank beavers. And George Nemec wouldn't give me the same price for a bank beaver pelt as he would give me for a pond beaver pelt. I don't know why, but they wouldn't give me as much for that. But they dug holes in the side of the bank. And I've also thought, I mean, I don't know how big the hole is inside of a beaver hut in there, but there's tons of abandoned beaver huts. And I mean, if a Sasquatch was in the area and needed to hide, I mean, he'd go down just up underneath where the beaver had its entranceway, bore it out a lot more, get up underneath of there and pull a ton of that out of there. What a great spot to cool off or hide. You need to have those things all over the place. Who knows?
That's a scary thought.
Or just
Bigfoot.
lay in a swamp. I mean, you go out into a swamp where nobody goes out because the water is 3-4 feet deep and the brush is so thick you can just about walk across the top of it. Be it a Sasquatch, go out in there in that cool water and just lay in that water during the day and just kick back and relax. Who knows?
Yeah. Moving right along though. Technological avoidance. Do you believe that they know where trail cams are? Do you think that they are actually avoiding our equipment? Are they doing that? Are they really saying, oh, that's a trail cam up there, I'm not going to walk in front of it? Are these the thoughts that Bigfoot are having? Because a lot of people say that. A lot of people are thinking that.
Well, a lot of people are having issues with getting a picture of Bigfoot on them cameras. And so that was, obviously, support your thinking that there's something about the camera that Sasquatch recognizes.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of animals, even around my house, the birds or the rabbits, I've noticed that if I have something in my hand, that they are frightened more than they are if I have my hands in my pocket. I've been paying attention to that. So, I mean, it's
quite true. And we've seen videos, trail cam footage over and over where all the animals that are coming through, the majority of them notice the camera. The deer will go and look down at it. The fox or wolf will know something's off there. So they're like Max said, they're smelling it. They're smelling the tech. They're hearing the tech. They're seeing the tech, and they know it's not supposed to be there. I
Yeah.
think that's the general thing, is that it's just they know their area, their woods, and they know when something's not right.
Yeah, it doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
Nikki, I gotta just step away for a moment here to flip dinner
Okay.
around, get the other side. I'll be right back.
No worries. I'm going to keep going.
Yep.
Okay, well, let me check over here real quick. Okay. Okay, I don't see any questions, so we're going to keep on going. So that's my thoughts about, equipment, because a lot of people are saying go low tech, right? Lower tech, maybe we'll catch something like the PNG film, stuff that doesn't have to do with the digital age, with Wi-Fi signals and UV or red or infrared or whatever it has on there. Lower tech may be the ticket to getting some kind of thing. At the same rate, I think it's going to be a lot of luck. Somebody's going to get lucky, and we're just going to poo-poo on that video or picture too, because we're in the same circle, of stuff all the time. And
What about the common pedestrian that's out on a trail and they have their camera, kids, or walking a dog or whatever be it, but they have no clue about Sasquatch? None of that's on their mind,
mhm.
and and they have an encounter. But then take a guy like me who just, I don't know as if I could get into that state of mind where, you know, totally forget about Sasquatch and act like I'm just frolicking up through the woods to stare at birds or something. It's
Right.
maybe they sense something, you know.
They could. It could be. All we can do is, like all the other investigators out there, they're testing it. They're
Yeah,
putting different equipment out, some with this, some without this, covering the little light, IR light, all vast of different things, just to see, well, did this work or this doesn't
that's what it's
work?
going to take. Yeah.
And that's what it takes. Over and over, they have to keep
Mhm.
testing these things. Some people just throw their trail cams right up on the thing. Should you hide them? Should we get better at creating camouflage for our trail cams? I think so. I think that,
Makes
it's going to be to a point where we need to put them higher up, facing down, and camouflaged, because evidently down on the floor is not working, because
right.
there's too many other, things that are other wildlife around.
At least 20 foot up is most animals, that are on the ground are pretty much taking care of basic needs. I'm feeding, I need water, and I need to watch out for predators. And
Mhm.
those predators are on the ground. And for a distance out in front of you, looking out, you'd be looking 10, 12 feet up in the air once you get a distance, get out there. That's why hunting out of a tree stand is so successful. Get your scent up high
Away
and
from
you're
yeah.
up in the air. But it helps.
The next question was physiological adaptations. What unique physiological feature does Bigfoot possess that allow it to thrive in its environment? Do you
Speed,
think it thrives because of its height and its weight?
strength.
Because it has speed. Everybody's kind of said they're fast. You can't hear them when they're walking around. They have these big feet that support them and that weight. So if I was to pick something that has changed in their bodies to help them adapt, I would say it would be their bone structure. Okay. That
Yeah.
would be my number one thing that's attached to the feet. The feet are bigger. I think they can feel their way around that forest with those feet. And that's why I have such a big problem with Patty's feet, because I don't see the movement in that big, thick pad foot that you see on Patty. And I'm not talking about even the fact that it's all white. People are saying it's because it was walking on the dirt. That doesn't happen, though. That
Okay.
doesn't happen where you're walking on ground your whole life. Your feet are structured, feet in general are structured differently when you've been walking on them in the woods forever.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have calluses and bumps and cuts and all kinds of um, odd looking shapes to the bottom of that foot because of the way it's walking. Have you seen the indigenous people of South America, of New Zealand? What's that area over there? The splayed toes and the feet are just, they are like calloused and calluses in different areas.
Sure.
So I just, that's something that always bothers me about the Patty footage is the feet. And if they're if they can move so quietly in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they would look like that. They would look more like what you see in an indigenous person.
Yeah.
Um,
And their bone structure,
Not
like you said too.
fighting.
I mean, once we have one of these things to study, it would be amazing to understand how their joints. I mean, we just constantly keep um, referring back to our bone structure because they're standing up on two legs, and look, they have two arms, a head, two legs, very similar to us. But if they're to get down on the ground and crawl like a sniper, which I put a lot of weight into, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, look
Mhm.
at Navy SEALs and Special Forces guys, and when they are not wanting to be seen or sneaking up on an enemy, or they have been approached, they get low. It's just natural for a primate being to get down on the ground when there is trouble. Now, if they're going to do that and crawl across the ground, maybe their joints are structured in a much different way than ours.
Yeah.
I've tried to crawl on the ground like that, and I'll tell you, from my hips back down to my feet, that does not work out really that well. You'd probably have to develop totally different muscles,
Mhm.
and yeah, it would make sense that your bone structure would have to be a little bit more favorable for crawling.
It's got to have denser bones to hold up all that mass for sure.
Sure.
But um okay, what was the other? Let's see. Also included in this is extraordinary senses or physical capabilities and strength. Okay, strength is another thing that we tend to lob on to Bigfoot, that they're
Mhm,
this incredibly barrel chested, muscle bound creature that
mhm.
could, kill us if they wanted to, which they don't
Yeah,
in
that is
almost
amazing.
all the cases. We have not heard of them. Very few attacks. Bluff charges, yes, but full blown attacks where anybody survived and came and said, I was attacked, very few. There are a couple out there. There's a couple of older ones. And there are some people out there who say, I shot I shot 3 of them. You know, they are out there. They say that. Um so it's hard to know about what's the
You know, some of those stories,
Um,
you know, even if one of them's true, you know, these guys that have a 30-06 or 7 millimeter mag, or, you know, like a good heavy caliber gun, and put 3 of them in the chest of a being like that, and say that it, you know, dropped to a knee, but then it got up and screamed at him and ran off into the woods. I mean, it's crossed my mind before and thought, boy, what if we find out that all their vitals are down in near where our stomach is, and it's just hollow or something up there in their chest? Like, how can you take a shot like that? They're either lying or something's going on. They have 2 hearts. Maybe they have 2 hearts, one down low, one up high, or something. One left,
we
one
don't
right.
know. We don't know.
Like a
They could be.
4-barrel Holly
Yeah,
carburetor up there or something. Son of a gun.
yeah. You
I
know,
mean,
we
when
don't.
they shoot an elephant with a 4.44 Marlin, that thing goes down. And an elephant's bigger than a Sasquatch. How can you blast a Sasquatch and hit him in his vitals? I mean, once your lungs start filling up full of fluid and blood, you can't
Right,
breathe. You're going down. There's something, one or the other. Either everybody was lying and nobody shot no Sasquatch, or
right.
these Sasquatch are, I mean, even a big buck, you shoot a big buck, and yes, those things are tough. They go a long ways and surprise a lot of hunters after hitting them hard in the vitals. But not just, they don't continue to live. You blow their heart out, blow their lung out, they're done.
Mhm.
But nobody's been able to harvest a Sasquatch after they put 3 30-06 shells in the chest.
You
Something
know what they say? We buried it because we thought we were going to get in trouble because it looked human, so we just buried it. You
they're
know.
full of shit.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Ah, so many stories, so many out there.
Sorry about
Um,
that.
the next one, cultural significance. So, how has the existence of Bigfoot influenced indigenous cultures, even folklore around the world, right? They
Yeah.
all have something of a bipedal hairy hominin in their storytelling. And as far back as, well, we have a lot of stories, you know, it's kind of hard to put a finger on where the first ones came from. We have all these pictographs and the actual lore and myths and legends that include these type of entities, spiritual spirits, and they're part of their life, and they just accept it. You know, the indigenous First Nations, they accept it and they don't question it. They just, because that's their culture.
Yeah. Part of their life. It was
Right.
normal.
So it's not a weird thing to them. It's just normal to
Yeah.
have that. Just like they have the bear, the deer, because animals and life in general holds a very significant part in their um whole community, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm having such a trouble with all these other cryptids and all, you know, aliens and all of that. I mean, you don't see any of them chiseled out on a rock wall.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, well, as far as I know, you know, as far as, you know, the information I've absorbed,
Right.
maybe there is, and I just don't know. But
Um So, and they teach these, you know, traditions to the youth. And that's kind of dying a little bit. A lot of the kids now are not getting a lot of that culture from the elders as used to be. You know, it's kind of dying. They're losing their language. They're not speaking their language. And you see a lot of issues with that throughout all the reservations. And
they're trying to hold on, though.
issues. Trying. Yeah, there's a lot of good things that are coming out and
Hmm.
trying to change that.
Yeah, they were
Uh,
decimated. That's
anthropology and archaeology, as close as they are, don't like each other. That is a great point right there. They don't. They kind of will go against each other there. And on this whole other end of this cultural significance, I don't even know if you want to put in. There's a whole other group that believe. Well, you have the woo side, right? A lot of them believe that came from the Nephilim, that they came from a whole different place. You know, that they're maybe fallen angels, that they're this. And I know Gary, I know, I know Gary, you know.
Gary's
Um
got to come on and tell a story someday. That needs to be on. That needs to be on video and recorded and put in the
I think
archive.
Joe had it
Gary
at one
Johnson.
time. He went on to Joe's channel
He
and
did.
it, yeah.
Oh, then I missed that.
Yeah.
I've always
And
asked
now
him
it's
to do it.
not there anymore. Um,
That's right. Yeah, because Joe changed channels and
yeah, he when he
deleted
goofed
his whole
and
channel at one time.
deleted all that stuff.
That's a bummer.
Uh,
Camille,
we are coming close to the 7 p.m. marks here, so let's hit this last one. I'm gonna skip the end of the show part. I know you guys all love the other stuff, unless you want to go to super fast through it. This last part was conservation and protection. My opinion is we'll never be able to protect them the way we want to. We can't really do a conservation without us knowing how many they are, where they are, how they migrate, where they go to. It's just, I think they're really on their own. And the first thing we need to do is actually prove they exist. And a lot of you don't say it. I don't need to prove anything. I saw it. We know you saw one. I'm happy for you. But the rest of the general public thinks we're Looney Tunes and do not believe that. So,
I respectively disagree, and my point would be this:
mhm.
all endangered species within our country, we have a process, and even though we let's see here, if one is brought in and it's been proven to be a species and accepted and named and it's in the book, I do believe that the rules and regulations are is that it would be immediately considered an endangered species, and then the studies would start in the colleges, the professors, the governments, and all of the everybody would converge on this. And then I think they'd find out just what we have been dealing with forever is, okay, go ahead and try to study one, see where that gets you. Well, let me know when you find another. And you are right in that manner. How do
That's
you
what I
manage
think.
something you can't find? But if they did bring in a body, I do feel that they should engage the proper process and come in and give us a hand. And maybe they have better techniques than we all do. Probably not. But I do think that they should be protected. That's my opinion.
Yeah, they've already got laws, right? They've got laws in Washington, they have in Whitehall,
Mhm.
and those are all fine. You know, they protect mm, I don't know if they protect them as they set standards for us humans that if you do this, you're going to be in trouble. You know, it's more as a checks and balance type of thing in my world. But yeah,
Maybe the
I
government is just hoping that, it goes on for a little longer because they feel they must be heading for extinction. And hopefully that happens before these yahoos actually get one, because it's
yeah.
quite obvious you know, do they even want them around? I wouldn't think that our government or the general public would be too enthusiastic about increasing the population of such a being. Maybe the government knows that and says, well, you're better off where you're at. We're never going to help you. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, thanks for coming on, John, and talking shop with me.
Anytime. Had a good time. Hey,
yeah,
check
it was
this
fun.
out before we go. So I was up in the woods, right? And I found this feller's hat. Well, I didn't know whose it was or whatever. And I got back to my truck, and he said, if you are the one who picked up my lost Irish wool cap, thank you very much. I got it in Ireland on a trip with my wife. Very sentimental. I turned around past the pond to search for it. You are the best that has been on many epic adventures. I thought that was pretty cool. I found this guy's hat up in the woods, so I took it over to the trail and I slid a beech limb through it and hung it right in the middle of the trail so he could see it. And that pond's 4.5 miles. So he turned around at the pond, came all the way back. I was only like 3/4 of a mile in when I cut off the trail to cut the creek. And I don't know, he must have went down there if he was with his wife or whatever, and they just bushwhacked for a bit. It was sheer luck that I found that hat, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow. So you did get it back to him, and he was all happy.
He got it. Yeah.
He was happy. That's great. That's what you want to hear, right?
When I go up there again, I'm going to grab the check-in registry. I thought about that after I left to get his phone number, and I'll send him a text.
Well, everybody, if you would not mind, please hit that like button and subscribe. Help me out here. I just hit 900. I'm on the end there, folks. That last 100. Let's see if we can get me to that last 100, right?
Right on.
Thank you all very much. I can't find my ending music anywhere, but again, John, thanks.
Eat some food first.
There it is. Hey guys, thank you so much, and we will see you guys in the next chat. Love you.
Great week. Bye-bye.